Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we do apologize for getting into the match a little bit late here, but we are going live right now into the match. I believe this is directly live, as I actually got the IP pretty late. I thought it was a new one today, but apparently it was the same one as yesterday, so that's a bit my mistake there. But we're going right into it. It's Fnatic versus PiTER here in a best of 3 to start things off this evening. Fnatic already up 2-0, picking up the first 2 rounds there, including the pistol and the second one. And as for PiTER, well, they're down. It's going to be on Mirage here to start things off. My name is Blue. I'm just going to be solo casting this first match. For the second set, I should have somebody joining me, hopefully, so you will only have to deal with me alone for this first one, and then we'll get right back to it. But going into this third round, we can see Fnatic going for a very quick take. Face crack and to try to hold things up, but unfortunately can't pick anything up. Pronax, they're going to be able to dispatch him, and as the players roll right into this site here, see Space try to get a response to that, but Crims picking up a nice shot over there to shut him down very quickly after that. Now, Pronax picking up an additional one over here on a JMQ. And as for the rest of these guys, a pretty quick clear out here. Spades did actually pick up a Mac 10 after he took down Olofmeister, and you can see that he got some of these players down pretty low. Flusha, JW, Crims, and even Pronax, to be honest, all getting down pretty low. So if he can move back in here and pick some of them off, that would be good. But he himself was also pretty low too, and also no armor sitting on his Spades. Gonna make that a little bit harder to work for. So unfortunately, that's not gonna come out very well for them. And Fnatic just swiftly clean things up there with a 3-0 start for themselves. Get them right into that. So now Fnatic with a good lead, they'll go into the gun round here. And as for PiTER, actually, again, I unfortunately missed the second round as I sort of just loaded into it as we saw it, but it looks like they actually stretched themselves a little bit too thinly there, and Waterfalls is going to make the interesting choice to just go with this scout here in the first gun round. So it's going to work out initially as he gets some nice damage on the Pronax. Same thing gets returned over there onto Olofmeister, but he actually picks Olofmeister off there as he tries to cross-peg over here onto Cannon. Oh, Flusha! Oh no, he's going to end up shutting down Pronax. That takes him down. Thankfully, all the other kills they managed to get still leaves PiTER in control, but now, as we can see, Ubik gets himself out here. He's going to manage to trade that back over onto JW, and now they bring it into a 2-on-2 situation. Flusha looking to wrap that back around. A good flash goes onto Ubik, but thankfully safely within the smoke. So we're going to take a little bit of damage, but as Flusha rolls right back out, he's going to shut down Face Crack, and Crims will find the final kill as well to take down Ubik. And there you go, Fnatic. A little bit of a bump in the road there with the Keem kill coming out, but they're still going to be able to pick up the fourth round. Nice and easy. Some good damage coming up onto them, as we can see, with a couple of their players going down to just 2 left alive, but still really not enough here to pick up the round. So PiTER now have to go back onto an eco for themselves here, and Fnatic will be able to continue buying, but still, like I said before, not really in a safe spot as of yet. Crims is doing an absolutely fantastic job, as is JW, but beyond those two players, they are going to be looking a little bit weaker here, and obviously we'll be looking at potentially, at this point in time, this could change, of course, with this eco round, but for the time being, we'll just be looking at one more buy from these guys as they go into the next round. But it's going to be Waterfalls picking up an AK after he picks up a kill there, and is going to try to respond to it, but again, just Fnatic with a shooting gallery, 1 by 1 by 1. Spaze actually ends up being the final player left alive here to bring this into a 1-on-2, and he's got a pretty good advantage about it too. His big problem, again, is the fact that he's got no armor to work with at this point, and Flush has already spotted him, so Crims is going to run away. He's going to get himself onto the B side to start the timer. Spaze, though, with a nice headshot, shuts down Flusha. Now it's just a 1-on-1. Even health pools for the most part there too. Space a little bit lower than Crims. But again, that armor factor is going to be a big deal. This Molly has to be absolutely perfectly placed, but Crims is going to take the battle right into his face at this point. He knows he might be around that corner, and there we go. Crims with a forward position catches him off, and that's going to shut down Space, give Fnatic the 5th round. A very close one once again as they keep it close, but Crims, unsurprisingly, is going to be the final player that ends up surviving for another time here on Fnatic's side. As we can see with everybody else consistently going down on Fnatic, he's the only player that's only died 1 time out of these 5 rounds so far, so he's probably the most consistent player, whereas they've been kind of throwing their lives away a little bit. Fnatic just playing a super aggressive T side, going right into these sites, not even using a whole lot of utility, to be completely honest. The smokes come out here or there, but for the most part, they're just running right in, trying to get themselves into the sites and clear it out and get the round scores up as quickly as humanly possible here. So now, in the 6th round, we'll see them slow it down a little bit here. Mid-control being taken, and Pronax will sneak through the doors here, coming up the T-ramp. And we'll be able to shut down the first target. That'll be Face Crack. Ubik, unfortunately, reveals himself a little bit too early, so Flush and JW are going to be able to tag team him down. Spaze, though, wraps back around through Ticket Box. He's going to be able to catch 2. As we see, for some reason there, JW pops out while he's completely flashed. That's going to be his own death going his way. His own op kill coming up from Waterfalls, too, and now Pronax again has to perform for his team. He's already up to 2 kills. Crims sneaking up over here, too, to get himself a better position on the jungle. Thankfully, they got the smoke to support that, but now JMQ is going to try to flank around. He's going to be able, what? He's going to be able to catch Pronax completely through the box as he takes him down there. And now he's going to pop right out, looking for the shots over on a Crims, but Crims is safely inside the palace right now. He's going to pop it. He finds one, looking for the second one himself. He's going to try to take down JMQ, but as well, we're going to have the smoke coming back in, and that's going to restrict access. He's flashed too. Doesn't really hit him, and he goes right for it, but he pops off, and again the clutch from Crims. It's like the 3rd one in a row now that he's done. And he'll remain still with only that 1 death. Not even leading the team in frags, too, interestingly enough. Everybody else is sitting at, we still have Pronex, I should say, still sitting up at 8 frags at this point in time, but Crims is still down at 7 there at this point, so unfortunately, despite all these clutches he's pulling off here, not the top man on the board. He doesn't get the cred for that just as of yet. But again, from Fnatic, they piece it together here. And I mean, their economy, when you look at it, I'm actually amazed at how well it is. Just, I mean, Crims is no surprise, obviously, but for JW, it's amazing he has as much as he has there. Especially considering he just got an op ball for himself there, so he's gonna buy that up. Ubik gets a nice push there through the tier net, but is gonna be able to pick up the first kill. But Olofmeister, he'll look for the response, and he's gonna be able to find it, but at a heavy cost to his own life, dropped down to 16 HP. And the rest of Fnatic too, shifting away from a B-centric push and going back to the basics in terms of what's been working for them in these previous 6 rounds, as they just go back over here to try and go for a push under the A site. And there's going to be Crims, catches face crack as he tries to fall back up in that ticket box position. Ubik is sitting up on the pallets here too. The nade's not going to connect onto him, and he actually picks up the opening kill here too for the CTs as they try to move back in. He's going to have to remove from that, and Crims again, quick on the trigger, shuts down Waterfalls directly after that. Olofmeister still sticking around in middle, but I'm sure he's going to come in through connector in a second, and that could catch some of these guys off guard as Ubik pops himself out a little bit there. Now they obviously should know where he is if they didn't already, and I'm pretty sure he knows this too, so he's going to fall back to get himself in within Firebox, which is a safer position. You can even see here too from Fnatic, they're not exactly secure on pushing in for this position just as of yet, so they're actually going to move away from it. JMQ is going to start to rotate towards the B site. The problem is, though, is that Olofmeister almost going to manage to catch JMQ, but he ends up surviving that encounter with 19 HP. And remember, Olofmeister 2 was sitting at like 17 when he started that fight, so it's been unfortunate. And now JMQ is going to try to sneak in Lonesome because he's been killed. You still have JW at large, but the problem is, I think JW is looking for this player, and now JMQ, he doesn't have a kit to work with, so it's going to be the full 10 seconds, but I don't think JW is going to have enough time. He's taking the long path to get himself over here, and there's no way in hell he's going to be able to get to it in time. If he gets himself on a cat, this is going to be great, but 3 seconds left on the clock. Here comes JW right now, and he's not going to be able to find it in time. Oh, just a couple seconds too late there. And JW, the big mistake of hunting for that frag on the A site there, underestimated the rotationary ability and the overall game sense, I feel, of PiTER. And JMQ was able to rotate in there, get himself out of harm's way of Fnatic, and a bit of a mistake on the part of Fnatic is going to give the first point onto the board here now for the members of PiTER as they bring it up to 1-6 now. And thankfully for Fnatic, like we talked about before, their economy was in a semi-okay position, so they're going to be able to buy it for an additional round. JW might actually be good for another one after this one, but right after that, they would be put into a pretty bad spot when they have to save directly after that. JW takes the aggressive path here inside of the apartments now. Finally, a direct push in the apartments too, where we just haven't been seeing any of that at all from Fnatic at this point. They've just been going straight for it with an A take and playing towards middle with 1 and 2 players too. But now after he screws around with the apartments a little bit, he's going to fall back going in underpass. And as for FaceTrack and Ubik, they're still holding on to the A site here. There's Waterfalls getting himself into the action too as he picks up a 3rd kill now. And Fnatic just can't seem to work anything. Olofmeister's going to rock in, but Waterfalls holds that too. He picks up an additional kill, trades out for an AK, and now Flush has got nowhere to go. He's the final player left alive for his team, and just got to walk right back here. Even Ubik pushed through now. Might even catch him before he can fall back on this. And there's going to be actually JMQ. He cuts him off back over there by the T-spawn. And PiTER again pick up a 2nd point there. Fnatic, fortunately, not the best push coming out from those guys. JW's opening push over there into the apartments didn't really do anything. Towards middle, they tried to kind of go in, but I think we now finally are in a situation where PiTER basically caught on to what Fnatic has been doing, and they've been able to adjust for this now. Regardless, however, this is a really great start for Fnatic in this half. 6 points onto the board, even if PiTER is just getting themselves right back into this game. Fnatic can even pick up, 2 to 3 more rounds. This is already going to be a good half for them and would be something to build upon as they go into the CT side there. They don't really have too big of a reason to be worried just as of yet. But again, Fnatic shifting the game plan up a little bit, going for more aggressive middle control this time. 3 players in top mid, at least 1 more working his way down through underpass, and a potential 5th going into either the apartments or, again, working with that additional teammate in underpass here. But JMQ again is going to find the opening shot. Space jumps out, picks up a kill, but Olofmeister gets the trade. Unfortunately, though, Waterfalls is able to trade the trade, and now Ubik picks up another one here, too, from the side of PiTER. It's going to be JMQ that pops right up, and they just execute it once again. A very clean round from PiTER, and now they're figuring out how to work this, shutting it down. Unfortunately for Fnatic, it seems it's moving too quickly, and PiTER has found out the way. They just take it nice and slow. They get themselves into their positions to counter out the pushes from Fnatic, and they constantly find themselves in the right spot here. And for Fnatic, the trouble brews that they can't seem to win a lot of those duels. I don't think they're expecting a lot of these players from PiTER to be in the positions that they were planning themselves in. And with a situation like that, obviously, that's going to be another kill that easily goes by the way of the members of PiTER there. Walking right out towards middle. That's going to reveal the Opera, obviously, but will they get some damage onto it? Not enough in order to trade the kill. And now Spaze and FaceCrack picking up those 2 additional kills. The touchdown nade comes in from Spaze to take down Pronex once again and drop it into underpass. He's even going to get an additional kill. Shuts out JW from within underpass, prevents him from doing any damage. And now PiTER just sits 2 points away from tying things up with Fnatic now. Very, very close in this matchup once again. And Fnatic, the money is going to be rebought at this point. Back up to the AKs. After saving in that previous round here, should have a decent amount of what they need. No op, unfortunately, on the JW, but we haven't really seen too much of that coming into play yet anyway, so it's not the biggest loss in the world. They try to change it up once again here, just in terms of what they're bringing for. It's a default A split, so there's nothing really surprising there. But with no presence in Palace, they're going to be allowing Obik to open up this big flank onto them. However, Olofmeister finds an opening, spray down over here on the waterfalls to get the way in. Now the players inside of Connector, 3 of them trying to work their way in from that, but they're having some trouble with Face Crack still pressured here. Thankfully, that allows them to get through, but they don't really know what's happening in jungle as of yet. So JMQ, he's going to get himself out. They smoke it out. The Molly's going to come in here, and that may force some relocation. We can see that Pronax and some of the other players, they're forced to walk up the steps. Flusha holds the angle there as Obik was lining up that flank from before. Doesn't pan out. Obik did get the 1 grenade kill. Basically, it's a post-mortem death, or a post-mortem kill with his nade, but that's all he's going to be able to pick up there. And now Fnatic get themselves back onto the saddle. They're going to get another round in their pocket. And as for the members of PiTER now, thankfully due to a nice streak that they had going for themselves here, and a very clean one as well when you take a look at it. 4 or 5 players left alive in the previous 3 round victories they had. They're actually going to be able to go for a double op set of themselves. Waterfalls and JMQA will be the ones going to pick those up. And a nice amount of utility behind that as well. But there's going to be Waterfalls, holds the mid connectors, shutting down Pronax. More coming outside of the smoke here now. Face Crack picking up the first kill from within inside the site itself. And there's JW finding something for Fnatic now, but they're going to need to trade out more than that. They're still down a man, and more reinforcements for PiTER are going to be on the way. Ubik with another op shot, shuts it down. Flush tries to push out of Sandwich. He gets dinked, but he's going to be able to pick up the kill. And Face Crack rotates in while he also picks up that additional kill in the JW to solidify the round for the members of PiTER. Now they're right back into it too, and this is really going to muck with Fnatic's money at this point as well. We look at theirs. You see 2 players, JW and Olofmeister specifically, are in a good situation to buy, but for the rest it would be stretching it. So I imagine they're going to take this round pretty light, and that's indeed going to be the case for most of their members here. We got 1 AK sitting on Olofmeister, and he was one of the players that could buy, but for pretty much everybody else it's going to be Deagles, and Pronax will just rock with a P250 for the time being. And now a 4-man push over here towards the apartments too. No action in another pass just as of yet, just watching out in case we see a push from PiTER, which for the time being, we're not going to be having that. However, PiTER, very good at catching on to the push from Fnatic. They do start to fall back a little bit more here to potentially put themselves just outside of this push angle. And this is going to be completely honest, this is going to be a very brutal attempt from Fnatic to get themselves into the site here and get themselves out of harm's way. But as they try to creep their way into here, we can wait and see, and there's going to be Spaze actually loses the opening return. Olofmeister with the rifle leads the charge, and now this is going to re-rotate JMQA. This is good too because if a lot of the players have forced their way off, JMQ also going to miss his opening trade shot here with the op, and then JW creeping up, going to catch Waterfalls. He gets caught off there by that smoke, and that's going to allow them to finish him off. Face Crack in the window though, still holds strong for his team for the time being, and he's going to shut down Pronax. Now more are going to be on the way out, and nade comes their way, but it doesn't connect from Fnatic's end, and Olofmeister's going to start to push forward here too, looking for the additional kills onto these guys. JW lined up, can't get anything though with that smoke that's sitting just outside of the window, and Ubik's going to push forward. He picks up a kill, but Flusha along with Olofmeister tag team, 2 more kills. Ubik finds an additional one on the JW, but Olofmeister in the corner, and that rifle is doing work, man. Shuts down 2 more kills, and Fnatic once again back onto the saddle, get themselves an 8th point. They're already going to be leading here going into the next half, so it's a great tee out from them regardless, but against a team like PiTER, when you're looking at, you know, the 2-time major champion in a row here now for Fnatic, going against a Russian team at this point, that to the general public, many people may not know of their name, let alone their skill. You would want to think Fnatic would have a much more secure lead at this point, so it does potentially open up some worries as we also go to that second half as to what PiTER may have in store just for their T side, not even for their CT side. As we've seen, they've been able to turn this around in a very good way, and we'll just have to see what PiTER can work towards now in the second half. We still have 2 more rounds to go here in the first as Fnatic once again going to split themselves up very heavily at this point. Go for pretty rapid mid control here, and then more than likely they're going to end up solidifying that into an A push here with 3 players moving into connector. One more is going to work his way out of Palace, and an additional one coming out from T-Ramp there too, as PiTER does have 3 in sight, a pretty default hold from those guys, but they don't have any mid presence at all, so when they do come in from connector, it's going to be all being held there. Waterfalls is going to rotate himself into the window room now to try to hold it better, but Olofmeister already inside of connector, that picks up the kill, and now Waterfalls has to rotate back out to defend with inside connector. Thankfully, get some good shots there onto Olofmeister himself, so that's going to be able to take him down nice and quick, but now Flush is out from the Palace, and now the take is on. They're going to roll right in here, and they're still not even aware of what's going to be happening here, coming in from the window room too, or coming in from the ladder room, I think that is as well. There's going to be an additional player pushing in, and that could catch Waterfalls completely off guard, but for the time being, PiTER's players are going to hold on, and you can just see here too, JW inside of that ladder room that we already talked about before, trying to sneak his way in. The bomb's rotated off, so they're trying to force the faux rotation at this point, but JMQA is not going to catch on. JW, though, again misses his opportunity. Not going to be able to catch the shot there over on the JMQA, and now the bomb carrier here, Pronex, has to take a duel versus him before he can even plant this bomb. There's just not enough time. He's going to drop him, too, so there you have it. That's going to end the round. Unfortunately, Crims would have tried to pick up JMQA, but he gets behind cover, gets himself into a safe position, and PiTER, because Fnatic played that far too slowly, escape with another round for themselves, and PiTER again with the strong holds onto the site. Fnatic, this slow play, this is not working out for them, unfortunately. They gotta go back to the quick plays. That's what was working out very well for them, but even that started to falter a little bit there too. So it seems that PiTER has really solidified the defense, and Fnatic is going to have to innovate a little bit here to try and figure out what they're going to do on this last round. And even on this last round, they're really not going to have a whole lot to offer in regards to offensive. They've got the AWP and the 2 AKs, but they're down on 2 more pistols. However, that's not going to stop them. They come and they pick up 2 kills right from the get-go before Waterfalls can even respond. And even with that, now JW is working with that AWP. He comes right in, picks up the shot into Waterfalls. That's going to shut him down. And now these players are working their way in. And pardon me for 1 second. Alright, my apologies, guys. I did have a sneeze real quick. But going back into this now, Olafmeister is going to press right forward, tries to take down JMQA, and he does succeed in doing so. So Fnatic bounce back. They pick up the final round at least, and still end themselves on a very satisfying T-side in Mirage half. 9-6 in their favor. And now we have to see what exactly PiTER can do. Now, I should mention here, for PiTER specifically, that we've often seen teams before where their CT side has problems, and it often takes them a couple rounds for them to figure out how exactly to work against their opponent's defense. And that might have been the case there, just because you can sort of see, again, and like a lot of cases here, Fnatic go extremely strong right from the get-go, and then they start to turn it around in the later portion of the first half there, where they pick up quite a few additional rounds in themselves, and then it bounces back and forth once Fnatic figure things out. With that being had, the T side is often not as hard, and it can sometimes be the opposite situation, obviously. So for Fnatic here, if we can see them, if PiTER have already been rehearsed on what they're going to expect here from Fnatic going into this half, then we could see a strong start from PiTER, and they could get themselves right back into this game, as the T side does tend to be easier for some of those newer teams. But to start things off, it'll be a 1-for-1 trade. Rubik's going to come in, though, and they overwhelm him along with Facecrack there to try and make it a second kill for themselves. And there's a third that comes out from Rubik now. He's going to take down Flusha, and it's JW and Crims to work a 2-on-4 retake. Not really going to be feasible, unfortunately, as we take a look at both JW and Crims sitting off the sites at this point. JW working his way in from Palace, but at a very predictable position. They haven't spotted yet, and Crims gets the 1-tap too. JW comes in, he finds a second one, so they're not done just yet as they work their way back in. They've got a kit too, and JW is going to find an additional kill. He's going to pick that one up on a JMQ, and he just shuts it down. 3 kills for JW, and then walk right into the site. Crims still with plenty of time left to defuse the bomb there with a kit, so they're going to be able to grab that. And Fnatic, it looked like it was completely into the hands of PiTER, but it gets completely stolen away by the members of Fnatic. They're going to pick it up. 10 points onto the board for them now, and that just shatters everything from PiTER that they could have hoped to grab here in the earlier portions of this. So what a great pickup there by JW just to save the pistol round for the hands of Fnatic, and now they're right back into this game. They're right back into the lead as well, and now they can grow it even further here as PiTER, unfortunately, they're not going to be able to respond to this too heavily on their eco rounds, I fear. Now they're going to go for just a very light buy up here, not even upgrading the pistols in most cases. 2 players are going to be sticking with their default pistols, 3 just go with P250, so they're taking it very light here to go for that 3rd round aggressive buy, and Fnatic already realized this as they've gone for full rifles, but it doesn't even matter. Look at it, JW again along with Flusha. Crims getting a piece of the action there too. They just ripped them apart, and that's another quick round for Fnatic. But here comes the buy from PiTER. They go for the 3rd round aggressive buy. Unfortunately, though, with them not being able to get any damage onto these Fnatic players with no kills coming off, we're still going to be looking at full rifles on the table for these players. Yes, they'll be a little bit weaker, but just look at the utility buy-ups here when you compare it to what Fnatic has. Fnatic has absolutely everything they need. They're going to be a little bit light on mollies, granted, but the CT side doesn't make them as crucial as you can on the T side. The mollies are really only going to be good if you can absolutely predict like a 5-man rush or something, and you can melt them as they're going at apartments or an angle such as that. It's much more better for the T side to have those, as they can force relocations on CT members and whatnot there. So now they're going to be sitting up, and that P90 from Olafmeister can still do plenty of work as well. He's not in the best position for it, I would have to say right now, but we can still expect some work to be done. And there we go, face crack. Peeks out a little bit too early as that smoke and not bloom just as of yet, so JW is going to be able to spot him, shuts him down. And already the members of Fnatic are going to be once again a kill up on these guys from PiTER. PiTER's still split up pretty heavily at this point too, so they're taking a lot of individualist 1v1 duels, and I don't know why GoTV wants to stick on a JW behind a smoke there, but Fnatic just seems to be shutting this down at this point. JMQ is going to be the final player left alive, way back over here, just outside of the back alley, trying to work his way over here towards upper middle to retrieve that bomb. but I'm more than certain that at this point, Fnatic should have this under their control. Just going to split themselves up as they don't really have a whole lot of intel. JMQA really hasn't done anything as of yet, in this round at least. So they don't really have a whole lot of intel as to where he's playing from, so they just go for the default split. Going to try to catch them at the usual positions. And to be honest, Peter's going to have to make a move here pretty shortly if he is going to go for this one. It does seem like he's creeping forward as to say, that he is going to go for this push. And, you know, he kind of has to, just because you look at the money. He's only going to have $50 at the end of this, so if he takes the risk on saving and loses that out, he's basically going to be even worse off than he would be if it was the first round's pistol round. So he might want to go in here and try to die before the round ends. 3 seconds left. He's going to press forward, looking for some kills here. Going to get one, going to try to get the second, pulls out the knife, but oh no! Now he's going to stay alive. He's stuck in this corner. Pronex can see him, and oh my goodness, I don't know how he survived that, but JMQ manages to make his way out of that round. Still with that AK, still with the armor and everything. He's not going to be able to buy up any utility at all this time, but still picks up that kill. Can't find the second, but I think the fact that he ran in, grabbed the kill, basically ran right into 2 of their faces, got a kill, and then managed to hide Hocus Pocus style, sitting behind the pole there at that point. And unfortunately, there wasn't enough time for Fnatic to get behind him and catch him, so he's going to make it out alive with this one. And now they have another AK going into this round at the very least, whereas the rest of the team, again, they go back down to P250s or Tech 9s, as unfortunately, with the money buyout coming there previously, they're not really going to have a whole lot this round. But JMQ leads the charge here on the way into the site. Pronax with a good response to open it up, but JMQ finds the trade, looking for Olafmeister down the cat area there too, but they do get some more damage onto him, and that's going to bring him down. At the same time, Waterfalls is able to press forward and get a kill into JW, and JMQ now has to sit back over here behind the bench, which unfortunately that's going to get traded out by Olafmeister as well. They're going to shut him down. Krims picks up another one, and now it'll just be Ubik. I think the bomb is planted for him. Obviously, though, without having armor or anything, it's going to be a pretty easy shutdown for Olafmeister. So there you go. That's going to take him out. We can see a couple guns being swapped up there by the Fnatic players. And again, from PiTER, some good intentions, some good strategy coming out here. But unfortunately, with a round like that, overall, not much to be expected. That AK was doing some good work. I just don't think his teammates were able to cover for him as well as he was expecting. So he got stuck behind bench and was basically getting unloaded upon by pretty much everybody that was on Fnatic there to try and take him down. The cat play was a bit horrendous. The cat play was a little bit hard to work with there, with Olafmeister slowly whittling him down, and because of how low he had gone, he himself couldn't pop out to do more work with that AK from the players that were pushing in from market, and that was really their only anchor for that round, was going to be that AK that they had in play. So without that, and with everybody else just being on PT50s or Tech 9s, basically no armor, it wasn't really going to be too good. But here comes Olafmeister, pushes through, now has partial control of the bomb, but Waterfall gets a response, so we still have a little bit of a battle here, and I'm not 100% sure if Olafmeister's actually spotted the bomb, and ooh, he just gets himself out of dodge there for that op shot too, as that's going to be Waterfalls pushing in towards this one. PiTER is still trying to line up a push, and JW as well there catches him as he tries to bait out the push, and that's going to work great because Waterfalls tries to push forward in order to get that kill into Olafmeister, but it's not going to pan out at all. Now the rest of the members of PiTER have to fall back because they need to resecure this bomb. Olafmeister's pushing, look in the complete wrong direction though, so Ubik is going to be able to get the off-angle kill there onto him, and that's going to shut him down now. And it'll be tied up for the time being, and PiTER should be able to go back to their usual plan. 3 players still getting ready to push. They're going to shift it over here towards the A site potentially, though, as they work their way over towards that. And Ubik is just going to sit here to make a crap load of noise. JW even working here through the underpass at this point, trying to see if he can catch some of these players off. But nope, Ubik jumps down, catches JW as he was sitting at only 18 HP after that exchange earlier that he had going with Waterfalls. So that's another player from the CT side is going to be down, and now the final 2 to split themselves up 1-for-1 here. The bomb take is going to be happening, though, on the A site at this point. I'm not even sure Krims realizes this, as now the nades are going to roll, and he's going to know for sure at this point, but they're already creeping up, and they're already getting ready to go for the plant, and also sitting right behind in a second here, Krims is going to be Ubik sitting over here in the mid-cubby, getting ready to push into these guys, but the rotation from Fnatic is also going to be fairly fast as well. So Pronax is going to be able to get himself into this position to go for the retake. The flash comes out, he can't find anything initially, and Ubik has yet to make a move yet, which is quite surprising. I'm pretty sure he's waiting for them to go for the retake, so they're going to jump up, and unfortunately for Ubik here, to be honest, he's not even needed. Face Crack just finishes off the final 2 players. JMQ is assisting with that a little bit there too. Ubik was basically just an insurance policy in case they did come through, so he could be a bit of a surprise addition there coming back in from Connector to catch some of those players off guard. So PiTER, although they have dropped quite a few rounds, that's going to be the first one they pick up in this half, and now they try to get themselves back into the swing of things here. Fnatic already picking up their 4th round here in this one, and now only needing 3 more in order to close out this map, but still having a whole lot of money because of, for in some cases, just how clean some of those rounds were. So they go for another rifle buy. No op, unfortunately, on a JW this time, but again, the same symptoms that we saw in that previous half. Not seeing a whole lot of work coming out there from a JW, which actually it's a bit surprising considering he's leading on frags, but with the op, I just don't think we've been seeing it as well as his rifling. Beak and some of the members of PiTER are going to try to push forward to get themselves on this B site. You can see JW and Pronax are going to be here to defend it from just outside of them, the apartments here now to try and stop the push from happening. And Waterfalls along with Beak both taking a couple hits here that are coming out from Fnatic. They know that there's a heavy presence from PiTER sitting in here, but the question is just how many players are in here and are screwing around with this area at this point. The smoke fades and now they can make the push, but with all the nades coming in here, they should draw the rotation for Fnatic. It's going to be a little bit slow as they just start to rotate in now, but PiTER is slow as well. They're still stuck inside, so that nade just rips them to shreds. And oh my goodness, what a disaster now. Spaze is the only player from PiTER that manages to get a kill, and Fnatic just absolutely shut them down from within inside the apartment there. And we could just see from PiTER, I don't know what the hell happened, but they had all the nades they needed to get themselves out of the site, but they walk out into the room with all the open windows, and they just freeze. They just sit right in there. A nade comes in, it just destroys them, rips them to shreds, brings almost everybody down to about 50 HP, and Fnatic just has to pop right out and rip them all down, finish everybody off with the 2 to 3 hits each, and then they're all dead men. So there you go. Fnatic gets another round, and again, keep in mind, only all 4 of their players, 4 to 5 of their players, I should say, keep themselves alive and well in that matchup. Only Pronax, I think, is going to end up going down as a result of this one, and might even been someone else there. JW just might have rebought because he's been sitting pretty good. And now the rest of PiTER, they're going to go for a direct take on the A site here too, but JW still holding it strong. Flusha coming in for a little bit of support, and Crim's back up there by Ticket Box too. Just shuts it down. Space is going to fall as the final player, and Fnatic are now going to be at match point. I don't know what happened for PiTER. They had a great round just a few rounds back, but now it's all fallen apart at this point, and Fnatic are going to have an absolutely huge advantage as they pick up their 15th point here, only 1 more away, and should easily be able to clean things up from this round forward here on PiTER's end. As PiTER are just going to be looking at a Tech 9 armor buy-up. Really not any mollies or anything else either, just smokes to try and work a take potentially, but we've seen that smokes really don't make the difference here from PiTER as of yet, and already Crim starts it off, picks up the first kill. JMQ will look for a response coming out of Palace, but Flusha rotates in onto the steps to try and stop that from happening. He's going to bring him down to just 10 HP as JMQ starts to fall back a little bit more here now. And Fnatic, they'll hold a strong hold here on that out A site. They already know it's going to be pushed towards there. You can see here, Waterfalls is going to try to push forward. JW picks up the first kill, but Crims looks for the response there, finds it. Flusha finds an additional kill, and now everything for PiTER falls into the hands of FaceCrack with only 1 smoke. And 4 players still alive from Fnatic. More than likely, this map is going to be concluding here in this round, and Fnatic will be sitting with a final score of 16-7. Keep in mind, guys, by the way, this is a best of 3 set, so that we're not going to end things here just as of yet. We'll be going to our next match in just a few minutes, and that's going to be over on Cash. Keep in mind that this first map was the pick from PiTER, so unfortunately, that is going to have some bad consequences now as we go into the second map. Not exactly sure how confident PiTER is going to be feeling, as they really struggle to pick up the rounds on this T side. Unfortunately, the CT side was much better. So once again, folks, we are just going to take a very quick break here really quickly while we're transitioning between the 2 maps, and as soon as we are ready to rock and roll in the second one, we'll bring back to you more of the StarLadder I-Series Season 14 European Group Stages 1 right here on Twitch. We'll be right back, folks, so stick around.